Hey guys, what is up? It's Abby here. I just wanted to film an updated Fear Street collection video. As you can see, I have a lot more since 2022 when I filmed the last one. So I thought I would just update you guys because I still enjoy watching these myself. So, in case you haven't seen my previous video, I do want to re-preface that I have a list here. It's how I keep track of all of my books. I do basically have the majority of them. There are still like a few that I don't have yet, but I think whenever I do end up getting them all, I'll probably sort them by like alphabetical, because right now I'm sorting them as like the order of the list, which makes it easier for whenever I get them and I can just sort them. So, but before I go through my Fear Street, I'm going to start with my other R.L. Stine books. We'll start off with Superstitious. I have not read this one, but I have read some of his other adult books and I do really enjoy them. So this will probably be my next book that I read. It's on my to read list. Red Rain. I haven't read this one either. You know, just sometimes you're just busy being an adult. You don't really get time to read. I do know that when I do sit down to read, I tend to fall asleep, so it kind of defeats the purpose. And then I have A Midsummer Night's Scream, which is, I feel like it's kind of Shakespearean. And then I have The Taste of Night, which I still don't know if this is like a teen book or if it's like an adult. I think it's labeled as teen, but I could be wrong. And I have Sitter. I remember reading this one in high school and it was really good. Probably gonna have to pick it up again. Temptation. It's kind of given Twilight vibes with the apple, but it's probably not about vampires. And then I have this little compilation of super thrillers, The Lost Girl, and Can You Keep a Secret? And then I have this compilation as well. I believe this is like yes, so it's The New Girl, The Surprise Party, The Overnight, and Missing, which is just like a more recent reprint of some of his OG books. And then we have The Betrayal, a Fear Street saga, which I think, yes, this is The Betrayal, The Secret, The Burning, which is once again just like a reprint of some of his OG sagas. And then Don't Stay Up Late, which I think this was published in 2015, so it's like a newer Fear Street book. Broken Date, which I thought this was pretty neat when I found it because it's hardcover. Not a lot of his books are hardcover if they're like the Fear Street. Okay, so these, I like to resell them or trade. So these are all of my extras that I already have. So if you see one of these that you want, just comment and we can work something out. Okay, we're gonna set this up there for now. So these are my Goosebumps over here. I have kind of like halfway into the idea of starting my Goosebump collection, although I'm still kind of prioritizing the Fear Street because that's what I like. So we're gonna try to pull these out without them falling over, or we're just gonna do that. Okay. Eye Candy, which I believe I read this one as well in high school and it was so good. I just wish I didn't fall asleep all the time when I tried to read. And then I have a little paperback of Superstitious. And then I have a little compilation or just kind of like a books 3 and 4 of The Babysitter. And then we have Deadly Date, which is a compilation of The Boyfriend and the Girlfriend, which are some of his original standalones. And then Dangerous Girls. This is, I think this is like a compilation of this one, the paperback one. Okay, so we're not going to go into the Goosebumps because this is not what this video is about. I don't have enough Goosebumps to make its own video, and I don't really want to include it. So now we're going to start over here with this pile. So these are some of his standalones. Halloween Night, Call Waiting, The Dead Girlfriend, I Saw You That Night, and then The Babysitter, Babysitter 2, Babysitter 3, Babysitter 4. So the whole little mini series. And then I have these. I actually remember back in the early 2000s when my library did have some Fear Street. I remember they had like these covers. Because I think this was like a spin-off series because it's Fear Street Nights. It's like a little mini spin-off. And I think they came out in like the early 2000s. Let me double check. Yes, 2005. So that was right around the time where I was kind of aging out of Goosebumps, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start reading his teen series. I was like, I'm so cool now. So there's those. And then we're gonna start with this one. I actually have like a normal copy, like a paperback of this one, but I saw it and I thought it was just so cool because typically these don't come hardcover, which I think this is just like a rebinding. So it definitely, I don't believe it came like this. This is just like a which whoever had it, some library in New York, they decided to rebind it for whatever reason. All right, so we're just gonna go down the list. How am I gonna do this without them all falling over? This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be an adventure. We're actually gonna start with his standalones over here. Okay, we have Twisted, Hit and Run, and I think this is not the original cover for Hit and Run. I was right because I actually have another copy of it, which I didn't realize, but I will, when I'm book shopping and I see like a book that I think I already have, but the cover's different, I'll still pick it up because honestly, I want to collect all the different covers, which you'll see later on when we go through the other books. There's some covers of like reprints from the early 2000s that are different from like the 80s and 90s, which it's a goal of mine to collect the original covers, but those are a lot more rare, so you never know. Might not find them all, but we're gonna try. All right, next one's The Boyfriend, and then The Girlfriend, and then The Snowman. Okay, and then we have The Hitchhiker, Beach House, Blind Date, which I think, I could be wrong, but I think I read something somewhere, or maybe I just figured that this is true because it was published in 1986. I was -10, but I'm assuming since that's the only book that I have that's been published that early, I think this was his first like actual like horror novel, because I think before R.L. Stine wrote horror, he wrote joke books. I think, if my brain is serving me correctly, because I think he went to Ohio State University, and I think at that time he was trying to write joke books, like funny, like haha, and then he just decided to write a horror book, which is completely the opposite spectrum, but I'm here for it. I'm so glad that he did. And then same book, just a different cover, because I know I had that one first, And then I came across this one and I was like, oh, let's see if yep, still 1986. I don't know how books and publishers work, but this was published by Point, which is Scholastic. And this one's also Scholastic. So I think what had happened, since Scholastic is also in this one and it's called Point, I think there might have been like a brand name change, or sometimes I think he just moves to a different publisher because he signs like a contract, he gets like a lump sum, and he's signed to them for a couple of years, and then once his contract is up, he moves to a different publisher. I think that is what happens. And then curtains. I remember I found this at the state fair when I was probably still in high school, and I'm sure all state fairs are really similar, how there's like a section with vendors outside where it's like a giant garage sale, and it's so much fun. You never really know what kind of stuff you're gonna end up finding. And then there was this one seller or vendor who had just some books. Every time I see books, I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. And then this was the only R.L. Stine book that they had, and I was like, Dad, can I get it? And he was like, yeah, because I know he always gives me and my brother like a little like an allowance whenever we did stuff like that, so I was able to buy it. It was like $1 or something, so not too expensive. Okay, so let's see, we're gonna set these here. This is always the issue because I definitely don't have the luxury of having a very cool setup, especially not for videos, because these are all gonna fall down. So I might be struggling a little bit, but that's okay. So the first one I have is the New Girl. This is what I was talking about earlier. In the early 2000s, when my local library did have these books, it was like these covers with like the street sign. This is what I grew up on. But like I said, these books, these covers have OG covers out there in the world somewhere. So it's my goal to find the OG covers as well. I know this one's pretty rare, and the ones that I have seen are kind of like $30. And I'm just like, well, if I hold out, I could probably find it for like $1.99 somewhere. So that's the goal. The Surprise Party. And once again, the order I have these in are chronological to the order of my list from R.L. Stine's official website. There is a PDF that you can print out. The Overnight. Missing. The Wrong Number. And once again, I think I touched on this in my other video, but just in case you haven't seen it, on the list, it just has Wrong Number, and then the second one in like the little mini series is somewhere else down the line on the list. I don't like to do that. I like to have them right next to each other. I don't know why, it just kind of, in my brain, it just seems more organized that way. So, Wrong Number 2. And we are already getting them out of order. Alright, Sleepwalker. Haunted. Halloween Party, which once again, there is an OG cover of this somewhere and I don't have it. So if you have it, we can trade. I have right here, these are the ones I want to trade, and I'll do close-ups of them at the end. The Stepsister, the OG cover, and then I have the one with the street sign as well. Stepsister 2. Ski Weekend, which is a very fun Christmassy winter book. The Fire Game. Lights Out. The secret bedroom. The knife. My arm is already hurting, guys. This is brutal, but it's okay. The prom queen. I think this is just a sign that I need to work out more often, you know? First date. Come on. Best friend. Which I think there's a second one of that one, but I cannot find it because it's so expensive. The cheater. I had to make sure because I think when I'm filming this, it's like reversed. I don't know if that's how it's going to end up when it's done, but I was trying to read it through the screen. Sunburn, which I cannot be in the direct heat. I remember I went to Myrtle Beach with my family, and we're from Ohio, so I'm practically a vampire, but like when we went to Myrtle Beach, I got like sun poisoning or something. I was literally nauseous the whole time because I was out in the sun too long. So, nice little fun fact about me. The new boy. The dare. For some reason that makes me think of like when I was like in high school, my friends and I would play like truth or dare, or like college years we would like play drinking games, and that's like truth or dare. Bad dreams. Double date, which do people even go on double dates anymore? Is that a thing? Like I've never even been like on like an actual date. So like are double dates like legit? Or like do people go on blind dates? I would never. The thrill club. Like for me, maybe that's why I've never been on a date, but like I can't just we're getting off topic, but like some girls literally will go out with anybody for a free meal. That's wrong. I would rather just not eat dinner than do that, because it could end badly. But I wouldn't even go on a date or consider it unless I'm like actually interested in something with that person. One evil summer, which I think that's good because then it doesn't, which I wish guys were like that too, because then that kind of defeats the purpose of like, it kind of like shows a little intention, which you need to set that straight. The mind reader, which can't read minds. But anywho, dead end. Oh, that was goofy. And the last one of the row is truth or dare. Okay. I will absolutely cry if these all fall down because they're all in order. And I had them like this up and down, but I had them basically like opposite. So like these were like up here, and I was like, I knew I had to like rearrange them because it was irking me. So I did. My thumb hurts. I'm being dramatic, it's fine. All right, the final grade. Also, if I look like I'm sweating, it's because my apartment doesn't have central air. I just have like a wall unit, and it's so loud. Like, I can't even watch TV with it on. It's so loud. So we're just gonna like, you know, be a sweatbox for a couple minutes. Switched. Which, can I switch lives with someone with central air? Because this is hot. College weekend, which my baby sister just moved in to her college a couple weeks ago, and I'm feeling old. She's 9 years younger than me, and I'm 27. I'm old, guys. What Holly heard. the face, which I think this is good for me because this is I'm right-handed and this is my left arm. So this is like my left arm is my weak arm. So it's getting a workout so that my arms will be even. I'm so goofy. Secret Admirer. Perfect Date, which is what I dream about at night because guys they don't want to date you. Guys are weird. The Confession, which I also have the OG covers of that one as well, which I'm obsessed with these covers, honestly. The only covers I don't like are the re-releases of the Goosebumps. And you probably know what I'm talking about. Like, they're just not it. I'm sorry, but they're not it. The Boy Next Door, which I wish I had some cute neighbors that were single, but I live in like the cheapest apartments I can find in a decent area, so my neighbors are either old men or they're like 30, late 30s with like children, and they probably sell drugs, which I probably shouldn't say that, but I mean, Night Games, I couldn't read it because of the sticker. Runaway, which is what I did. I ran away from my hometown because they were building a lot of brand new bougie apartments for like $1,500 a month for a 1-bedroom. And then that made the old apartments from the 60s $1,000 a month. And people will pay it if they have the money, but I cannot afford that. Killer's Kiss, because it's just me and my cats. My cats need to start working. They need to get jobs. All Night Party, which this is the book. This is so goofy. I talked about this a little bit in my other video, but this is technically wrong. Don't do it, which you probably can't anymore because all of the Fear Street books are not at libraries anymore. They probably sold them in their little book sale. But I reserved, this was a couple years ago, probably in like 2020 or 2021. I reserved as many Fear Street books as I could find, which was this one and one other one. I already had the other one, and I wasn't really big into reselling at that point, but I still wouldn't do that because that's a little unethical to do that much. I mean, this is still unethical, but I would just feel wrong trying to resell it. But I basically reserved it, and then I told I returned the other one in the drop box, and then this one I left it at home, and the other one I just went up to the desk and I told the lady I lost it and I couldn't find it. And typically when that happens, you just pay the price that's on the back of the book, which is like the MSRP or whatever it is. This was $5.99, so I paid like $6 for this. So I mean, I'm not complaining, but I mean, for the record, that's a little unethical, but it's funny. Like I tell my mom about it and she's like, Abigail, but like we kind of laugh because it's goofy. It's just, why did I do it? But I mean, it's not hurting anything, whatever. And then this is the OG of All Night Party. And then I have the 2000s edition of The Rich Girl, which the OG version is out there. But this one, it's so expensive. And I'm too poor, and I don't feel like these books are worth like $20 a piece, so I don't pay that. Fear Hall, the beginning, which there is the conclusion. It's out there, but it's either so hard to get your hands on or it's like $200, so pick your poison. Who Killed the Homecoming Queen? Into the Dark. I actually remember reading this one. Like, this made like an impact on me. I remember this one. The Step Brother. Which these are like super, maybe not this one, but this is Camp Out. And I think this has a different publisher. That's why the covers are a little different. Next one is Scream, Jennifer Scream. This book right here, I remember reading it, and it's been my favorite Fear Street ever. And it took me so long to find it, and last year I found it, and I think I paid like $15 for it, which I'm fine paying $15 for the one book I want. But if I'm just like going to a half price books and they just have one that I haven't really, it hasn't been on my mind, and it's $15, then I'm gonna leave it behind. Like, I'm not gonna pay $15 for a random one. But yes, definitely worth it to me. And also, this is like another, like, not really unethical, but like I'm gonna try, because like I said, I live in Columbus, Ohio, and that's where R.L. Stine, I think he has a house in Bexley, which I think his full-time residence is in New York. But he's having a book signing at this bookstore in Bexley for like his like new Goosebumps, and like on the rules or fine print it says do not bring other copies of his other works. He will not sign them. He will only sign like copies of his new stuff. But I think I'm gonna bring this just to try, because I think the bookstore makes that rule, but I think when you kind of like do it in person, I think they're not gonna say no. But I mean, he might also just say, he might tell me no, and it's gonna make me cry. But I mean, how can you say no to this face? Like, come on. Like, I would sign anything. If I was famous like that, I would sign anything. Party Summer. Silent Night. Silent Night 2, and I think there's a third, but once again, it's so hard to find. Goodnight Kiss. Goodnight Kiss 2. Alright, we're done with the second row. Whew. I'm talking so much and my face is just sweating so much, so I'm gonna step off camera and I'm gonna take a drink. Excuse me. Okay, we're gonna start the third row. It's so humid in my apartment, guys. Like, I have my curtain shut. Obviously my window's open. You could probably hear the birds and the lovely summer sound, which I just love it. And at night you can hear like I was gonna say mosquitoes, but I think it's crickets. It just brings me back to my childhood. But anyways, we're gonna start in this last row that's leaning. First one is Broken Hearts. The Dead Lifeguard. Oh, dust is falling in my eye. Bad Moonlight. New Year's Party. And then I have the Cheerleaders little saga. The First Evil, the Second Evil, and the Third Evil. Cheerleaders, A New Evil. And then I have this 3-part saga, The Betrayal, The Secret, and The Burning. A nice little fun set there. And I also have this 3. He really likes to write books in 3s. Except for The Babysitter, he just kind of like did a 4th. Like, he was like, you know what? It's not done yet. I'm gonna add another one, which is good for him. The First, Second, and Third Horror. And then I have the 3 Cataluna Chronicles. And then I have the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Scream of Fear Park. And then this is where I'm lacking some of them, because these, if you know which ones I'm talking about, like the Fear Street sagas, where there's a lot more in the series. I'm not going to get them out, but I'm just going to read them off, like the numbers and the titles. So I have number 1, A New Fear. Number 2, House of Whispers. Number 3, Forbidden Secrets. Number 4, The Sign of Fear. And then number 5, The Hidden Evil. Number 6, Daughters of Silence, which I remember reading that one in high school. Number 7, Children of Fear. 8, Dance of Death. And number 9, Heart of the Hunter. I did have, just randomly, because typically I'll go to Half Price Books, and then there's like this random like flea market like an hour and a half south of me that like my family went to growing up, and there's like this bookstore. So like I went there one time, and there was just like, they just sometimes have Fear Street. But I'll like always call ahead because it's like an hour or so away. And sometimes when I don't call, I'll go there, I'll pay the $1 for admission, and then I'll go to the bookstore and they won't have anything. But also like the old man who runs it, he's not the most personable. So it's like, I think it might just be his personal cell phone, because like he gave me his phone number when I went there one time, like, you know, call ahead, ask about Fear Street. So like every time I call him, he's just like, hello? And I'm like, hi, is this the man who runs the bookstore at Caesar's Creek? And he's like, yeah. Do you have any Fear Street right now? He's like, no. And I'm like, all right, bye. And he hangs up on me. So I almost would rather just go there and not interact with him or like talk to him at all. Because it's just weird. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's just old and grumpy and he hates his life. But like, I don't know, be a little bit more personable. Be like, oh, you're the girl that calls about Fear Street. Oh no, we don't have any right now. Sorry, call back next Tuesday. Actually, no, they're only open on weekends. I don't know. But on my list here, I had The Hand of Power. That's where I was going with that story. I had that one, but then I looked on Half Price Books is getting sneaky now. People are starting to, which I feel like Half Price Books is set up very similar to Plato's Closet, which Plato's Closet is kind of like a consignment shop. And I know a lot of people talk dirt about how like, my mom, you know all of it. But it just depends on who is going through your stuff. I know I worked at Plato's Closet, you know, I didn't like it, it was terrible. But like when you're going through people's stuff and then you're putting it into the computer, you have like options on like you have 3 different options on the quality. And like the better the quality, the more money you'll get out of it. And like obviously the higher they're gonna sell it. But I'm so out of breath because it's so hot in here. Hold on, let me take a drink. I'm actually gonna open my curtain a little bit. Oh, so we can get a little breeze. What was I even saying? I don't remember what I was saying. My brain is just, oh yeah, so basically it's like a consignment shop. You have options of like if it was really good quality, you're gonna get more money, but Half Price Books is starting to, what's the term that they use? I forget, but it's either like vintage or something, and like that's how they categorize it. So they're able to sell a single book for like $200, which makes me so mad. It's like I miss the times back in the day when whoever was receiving these books, they didn't know, which I think the only reason why now people are like catching on to it was because of the Netflix Fear Street adaptation. So it's a little bit more present now, if that's even the word, but it's, I don't know, I just feel like because it's vintage, a lot more people are collecting. So I think that's just what it is. It makes me so mad because it's like I can't afford to drop $200 on a single book. Even if I was like a millionaire, I don't think I would do that. But yeah, so I can read off the ones that I don't have, because if you do have an extra copy, if you're lucky enough to have an extra copy of these like super rare ones, I'll buy it from you, or we can trade, which I'll go through those in a minute, the extras that I have. But basically the ones that I'm missing is Fear Hall: The Conclusion, Best Friend 2, Trapped, and then Silent Night 3, High Tide, Cheerleaders: The Evil Lives, which is another thing I'm confused about on this list, because it has like Super Chillers and then it has the Cheerleaders in like the year when they were released. But The Evil Lives is listed under a Super Chiller, and then it's also on the list over here in Cheerleaders, which is very confusing. But whatever. And then The Awakening Evil, which that's another one that I've only really seen. It's like 200 plus, and I'm just like, half price books? This isn't half price books anymore. This is like, I don't even, my brain can't think that high, but like triple times books. You know what I'm trying to say. This is like 20 times books, which is not fair. Like, I'll just bring it to the library and be like, I lost it. Let me just pay the $5.99. But yeah. And then okay, so I will go through the ones that I'm trying to get rid of. So I have the Seniors, which I don't have other copies of these, but I'm a little brokey broke. So like, if you want to buy them, I'll sell them for a reasonable price so it can fit your budget, but also like my wallet, because like a girl's got to eat, you know? So there's those. That's The Last Chance, and then Let's Party. And then we have Double Date, Truth or Dare, What Holly Heard. And then I actually have another copy of What Holly Heard, because apparently what she heard is like double good. Like, it's some juicy, like you need to know, like when Holly speaks, you listen. The Dead Lifeguard, Missing, Beach House, Fear Park: The First Scream, and then we have the Fear Street Saga #2, The Secret. So yeah, that is my whole collection. I know, I want to own them all, but I mean, I might not be able to find them unless I'm willing to drop, you know, like a quarter of my rent on a book, which wouldn't be very smart. But I mean, we'll see. I'm sure I can find them places. Maybe I'll go to like a random garage sale with my mom and my sister next summer, and I might just come across a whole heaping pile of them. Because I know back in the day when I was in high school, and even a little bit after, that's typically where I found most of them, was like garage sales. And then I would, I haven't checked eBay in a hot second, which is another place that I would buy like bundles from, like super cheap. I'd get like 50 books for like $15, like something nuts like that. But yeah, this is my collection. Thanks for watching. If you want me to do any other types of videos, let me know. But yeah, if you want some of those books, if you want to trade, if you want to buy them from me, if you have some that you're trying to sell, just let me know. My Instagram is Lil Mermaid Abby, so search me up. And I'm also on, it's like a pretty new book selling app. I think it's called Pango Books. Same handle, Lil Mermaid Abby. I'll have everything in the description so you don't get confused. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!